name is Stavros Mastrogiannis, and today we're going to talk about how to eat, okay? And the important role of how you eat plays to your weight and health. The unfortunate fact is that most nutritionists only talk about what foods to eat more of and what foods to eat less of. The fact is, how you eat can affect your weight and health as much, if not more, than what you eat. And this is what I want to talk about today. Now, there are plenty of studies that support this idea. By the way, this is not something new. Okay, you could eat the exact same food, and you can have completely different effects on your weight and health depending on how you ate that food. Okay, one of the many studies that proves that point. It was the one that was published in the Clinical and Translational Report on June 5th of 2018. Okay, this study took a group of diabetics, split them into two groups. The one group ate all their food in a 6 hour window, so obviously they had 18 hours without food. And the second group ate all their food in a 12 hour window, and obviously had 12 hours without food. Okay, the group they ate all their food in the 6 hour window had improved the glycemic control, insulin sensitivity, and blood pressure compared to the 12 hour group. Isn't it interesting? Now, remember the documentary Super Size Me? Mr. Spurlock went to McDonald's for 1 month and obviously ate cheeseburgers, hamburgers, all the good stuff, and gained, I think, 26 pounds and became very unhealthy, so he had to stop. And of course, the moral of the story was that, McDonald's is really bad for you. Well, back in 2011, I did a similar experiment, okay? And again, I ate the same foods as Mr. Spurlock, cheeseburgers, hamburgers, Big Macs, all the good stuff. And I did eat Burger King a couple of times too, but again, cheeseburgers and hamburgers. But my experiment, I did it for 2 months. By the way, the name of my experiment was Winning the Losing Battle, okay? And it was a documentary I did back in 2011. Now, when I started the experiment, I weighed 170 pounds, and my cholesterol was 168, and my blood pressure was 109/70. Now, do you know what happened to me eating mostly McDonald's and some Burger King for 2 months straight? Actually, you'd be surprised. Nothing. Nothing happened to me. My weight pretty much stayed the same. It went down 3 pounds, which is insignificant. My blood pressure stayed the same. And my cholesterol actually went down 10 points. It was down to, I think, 158, if I remember correctly. Eating the same food as Mr. Spurlock. So how can I have such a different results eating the exact same foods as Mr. Spurlock? You see, unlike Mr. Spurlock, I listen to my body. Okay, I follow the 3 habits that I teach my clients. Okay, I I I made sure I waited for at least 16 hours without food. Okay, I ate all my food slowly and mindfully. I always made sure I was hungry before I start eating, and I always stopped eating when I satisfied my hunger. Okay, and unfortunately, Mr. Spurlock didn't do that. He ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner, never once asking, "Am I hungry?" And he never stopped eating when he satisfied his hunger. He just kept eating because the food was in front of him. Okay, and so the point here is eating the same food had very different effects. Now, did you know eating slowly and mindfully, you end up eating less food without even trying? Because, and you know how that works, is when do you get pleasure from food? When the food is in your mouth. So the longer you can keep each bite of food in your mouth, the more pleasure you get out of less food. Also, it takes around 20 minutes for your brain to get the message that you're full. When you eat fast, we tend to go past that point before we even realize it. By eating slowly and mindfully, your brain has a chance to get the signal that, hey, you had enough food, stop eating. And this is why eating slowly and mindfully, you automatically will end up eating less food. Also, did you know the body stores calories differently, okay, depending on how you ate the food? In other words, you could overeat the same food, but depending on how you overate the food, the body will store calories differently. I'll give you an example. Sumo wrestlers, as you know, they're fat. They're very overweight. And yet they're extremely healthy. How come? When they did MRIs on sumo wrestlers, they found out all their fat is stored underneath their skin. Their inside organs are as lean as any lean person, compared to a regular overweight person where the fat is also distributed within the organs, and that's what causes a lot of the health issues. So how come sumo wrestlers store fat so differently? It's because sumo wrestlers, yes, they overeat, but they eat all their food in a 4-hour window and have 20 hours without food. And because of that, the body stores fat differently. Again, just to show you how you could eat the exact same food and have completely different effects. Now, also, if you pay attention to your body will tell you when to stop eating. How many people do you know that really pay attention to the body signals when they're eating? Very few. We usually eat whatever they put in front of us. And that is the problem. We have to learn to pay attention to the signals of our bodies. Okay, I'll give you an example. How many times you finish your dinner and then an hour later you back down in the kitchen looking for something else to eat? Again, the question to ask yourself is, could I go back eating whatever I was eating for dinner? If the answer is no, then you're not hungry. True hunger, you're not picky. If you're being picky, that means it's a craving. So again, this is just a few things you could do to see, am I truly hungry or am I eating because out of a craving? And unfortunately, most of the time people eat because it's lunchtime, because it's breakfast time, or because they're having a craving, basically for any other reason except true hunger. If you look at healthy regions around the world, the way they are able to maintain their good health effortlessly is because those 3 habits we talked about are habitual behaviors. It's part of their culture. I remember in Greece when I lived there and thin and healthy was the norm, okay, and cancer was a rare disease, people did not eat more than twice a day. We always ate slowly and mindfully. We had a 3-hour lunch break. So we took our time when we ate. And we never, yes, we did stuff ourselves every so often, but on the holidays, but like I always say, overeating is not bad for you. Overeating all the time is bad for you. And most of the time when we ate, we never stuffed ourselves. So, and that's how healthy regions are able to maintain a good health. So if you want to be lean and healthy for life, you want to develop the same habits. You want to, and if you do this the right way, there's no need for crazy workouts or unsustainable diets. Because the fact is, most diets today are unsustainable. And by the way, a quick way to tell if with a particular way of approach to weight loss you'll be able to maintain the results is to ask yourself this simple question. Whatever they're asking me to do, can I see myself doing that for the rest of my life? So if a diet is asking you to count calories, can you count calories for the rest of your life? If the answer is no, don't even bother starting because the chances are you are not going to be able to maintain whatever results you achieve. So my uh, recommendation is to first learn to eat slowly and mindfully. Take your time when you're eating. Don't watch TV. Put your fork down between every bite. Chew your food. Try to taste what you're eating. And you will find getting more satisfaction out of less food. Because I think I explained to you how that happens early in the video. You don't need to eat many small meals throughout the day. That's completely false. The one question I ask nutritionists when they bring this idea up that we should be eating 5 small meals throughout the day, show me one healthy region that eats that way. There isn't one. If you again look at healthy regions, on average they eat twice a day. There's no reason for the average person to be eating more than twice. Yes, if you're a vegan, you could eat maybe 3 times. But to be honest with you, twice is plenty. Again, most of the time. You don't need to be perfect. Okay? Also, learn to stop eating as soon as you satisfy your hunger. Keep in mind, when you go to a restaurant, don't listen to the waiter or waitress. Their job is to sell food, is not to watch your diet. I find it kind of funny when Mr. Spurlock did his documentary, his experiment, and he had to say yes every time the person behind the counter asked him if he wants to supersize. Of course, they're going to ask you if you like more food. When I used to waiter, I always ask people if they want dessert. I didn't say, oh, you kind of look a little stuffed. You don't need dessert today. Of course not. I asked them, would you like dessert? Would you like this? Would you like gravy with your French fries? My job is to sell food, not to watch people's diet. And that's the jobs of a restaurant, to sell food. It's up to you to control yourself. Okay? And this is about paying attention to your hunger. And a quick way to tell when you had enough food is by paying attention to the taste of the food. You'll notice at one point the food no longer tastes as good. As soon as you realize that, stop eating. No matter how much food left on your plate, take it to go. Save it for tomorrow. And if you can't take it to go, eating it's not going to save you money anyway. So those are the 3 habits I would strongly recommend that you develop. If you need any help developing these healthy habits and other healthy habits, check out my simple way to vibrant health system. You'll find more information about my system in the description of this video. Thank you for watching. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And if you found this information helpful, please like this video and share it. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.